problems in terms, and I would imagine that many of these young people are certainly not old enough yet to seriously talk about becoming involved in the whole economy. But what about jobs? I mean, are there enough summer jobs, enough part-time jobs to get many of these young people active? I say that primarily because if they're not doing anything, you see, if there's no part program or any other program for them, then they are idle. And of course, we know what an idle mind is,
right,
et cetera. Do you see, either of the two of you see any of thing that the government could do, or private corporations to do that might be able to help you in terms of what you're doing?
Well, the JTPA program plays a very important role in that process by providing the summer jobs through a lot of the community-based agencies. A lot of the businessmen in the 100 Black Men are looking at ways to develop incentive programs for youth to be involved in entrepreneurial skill development programs and to be able to actually work and earn income for themselves. That's going to be a very important issue for our youth as we look at trying to turn the dollar over more times in the African-American community, for them to realize the importance of building a strong economic base. And I think that's going to be a big factor as far as private businesses providing the kind of opportunities that will give our youth a legitimate way of earning income for themselves, so that through desperation they don't turn to the negative ways of earning money.
And so we know that these negative images or negative role models play a very, very important part in terms of creating the problems that we have with our young people today. Now, what are some of the other things beyond the role models that we generally have to talk about or think about when we deal with this age group?
Well, one thing I think is very important, I'm a 50s baby, and I look at, make comparisons of how things were when I was in this age group versus now. And probably the biggest thing that I see that is not there is that I don't have any peers that there wasn't a man in the household. That now is 30 years later, it's totally opposite. I don't have, if it wasn't for one young man in my program, all the young men in the program would be headed by females, all right? And with that problem, we have used a lot of things that you have to be trained with by being a male is not being done.
And so essentially, when we talk about female-headed households, we're not essentially saying anything in terms of that would be negative in terms of the fact of a female-headed household. Are you suggesting that perhaps there's something that a male brings to a situation that perhaps cannot be provided by a female? Is that essentially, well, certainly not that it cannot be provided, but it is more readily accessible to a young person through the male, is that what we're saying?
Well, basically what I'm saying is the fact is that without that male there, you have an incompleteness. Okay, that basically a breakdown of the family unit. Okay, a lot of these, now the kids we deal with are basically children having children. And with this breakdown in the family unit where no longer the nurturing, the love is one thing that has to be taught. Everybody has a capacity for it, but you have to teach that. You have to have examples of it. These kids, they are not getting examples of love and nurturing and these other kind of things that make them kind, gentle human beings. The values of these young men going into school, and young ladies too, where they need to know the ABCs, the colors, the shapes, these basic things before they even enter kindergarten. These kids are not getting this kind of thing because of the breakdown of the family, because children having children, the child is having the baby, basically educationally is illiterate, and then having a parent, their mother, that grandmother was in the same situation, not passing on family values, not telling that child, well, look, you need to sit up and hold this child and kiss this child and tell this child that you love them, you have worth inside of you, you're no good, this SOB alike. The breakdown of the family unit is probably, I would say, to me, is the greatest problem.
Very good. Mr. DrJHaney.
Well, also, I think there's the presence of a male in that situation contributes greatly to the process also, because, you know, the nurturing from a mother is ideal, but also just that fatherly nurturing is adds to that completeness that Mr. King spoke about. Also, as far as certain kinds of discipline, in some instances, it seems that young males react more favorably to the discipline of a male. And even though females are good in that regard, a male perspective enhances the discipline process that they're trying to put in place. So it's very important that they have exposure, if not through the home, through some other entity that can provide that like it used to in our African-American communities.
You know, about the last 9 minutes that we have left, let's look at some of the things that the two of you have been involved in, and to have you to sort of make a wish list, which is to say that both of you have been involved with young people, the mentoring process, and et cetera, for the longest. And if you had to make a wish list of some of the things that you feel that you need in order to be successful in doing what you're doing. See, both of you are making excellent efforts, but still you're touching such a small number of people who really have to be touched, you see. I think when you talk about these housing areas and et cetera, you're dealing with less than 1% of the population. Now, that's good, but still you need to touch more people. What can we do as a community, as a government or whatever, to help deal with this and perhaps meet this need as it ought to be met?
I think one of the things is increasing the awareness among African-American males specifically of the importance of volunteering in especially our community-based organizations. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. You know, an hour a week in some instances can make a tremendous difference in the life of a young person. We need more African-Americans to return to the community to bring the resources that they've gained after being boosted up by our community back to that community. Of course, the economic factor is a big one. We need more business opportunities in our communities so that we can provide employment opportunities for our youth, and they won't be so inclined to turn to the fast schemes of making money. And I think just generating those kind of opportunities and exposing our youth to a lot of the things that they normally don't get a chance to experience, like golf activities, tennis, business development programs, the importance of savings and checking accounts, and those kind of things, to give them more well-rounded kind of training in their development and at an early age.
And of course, these are some of the things that we feel, that you feel would help meet the problems that we face dealing with many of our young people.
Right. More activities and more opportunities to occupy their time.